Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, everyone. Today is March the 23rd here in the US, and I am joined by the esteemed Nawar Adra. Hi, Nawar.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Lee. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to have a wonderful conversation today focused on the frustrations facing business owners. And anyone who listens to this podcast knows that you and I are really close friends, and we talk a lot about stuff to do with business. And yesterday was a real massive turning point in the coffee industry in Australia with the coronavirus situation, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the lockdown and ambiguity of the lockdown and how the government is operating, and we're all facing, a lot of fear and uncertainty, I guess, happening in Australia. There's a lot of hospitality. There's a lot of hospos that they can't work from home, I think, and we're all questioning each other, like how long we're going to survive, how long we're going to continue even being in hospitality. Is that even if we come back, there will be people taking hospitality as a career or not, because this shows a lot of
vulnerabilities,
fragile and vulnerability of the whole industry, so there is a lot of question mark at the moment in the industry in Australia, I think around the world, but here is like we've got a lot of international students, we've got a lot of students, also we've got a lot of people that are trying to take coffee as a career, but now there's a big turning point even for people who considered to be in the hospitality industry as a career, So we're trying to fight against it. We're waiting for the government to show a little bit more initiatives for people in hospitality, like in the UK, where at least they committed to pay 80% of the wages. They committed to in the Europe, if you can't work from home or we have to lock down restaurant, at least there is some kind of relief, But here we have 100% right yet. Everything is waiting on the buzz on the 28th of April, when you do the GST and PAYG, which is 28th of April, where they're going to give you the money. But I don't know if there is a lot of cafe or hospitality institution will stay till 28th of April without getting rid of all
just to
stuff.
Clarify for anyone that's listening, that those stimulus packages, both in the UK and anywhere around America at the moment, I know especially in the UK that those stimulus packages are just focused on salaried workers. So my understanding is that if you're in the hospitality industry and you're a salaried worker, that does benefit you, but people who are contract workers, it's not necessarily something that's going to cover them. So that's, and that's the biggest challenge for our industry, is that we are mostly contract workers. And, up until now, that hasn't necessarily been something that has been a severe issue. But in times like this, most of our workforce is not getting included in any kind of a stimulus package, which is incredibly challenging and demoralizing, and it's a bit elitist, sort of, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we need to have also one voice. There's so many voices at the moment. I guess the society is doing its own thing. It's freaking out on toilet papers. I think the media is focusing on the freaking out of the society and then telling something else to its people. I'll give you an example. One goes up to say the school are open, and then the next morning the school don't send your children to school.
Straight up, she's confusing, and we're referring to the Premier of New South Wales here, and she. Right.
Premier,
there's such a disconnect, and this is what's causing the frustration for business owners everywhere and parents as well. This disconnect between the way that they're communicating things and the efficacy with which they're saying it. So we're specifically referring here to when the state government and the federal government are both saying keep your children at home, but all schools in New South Wales remain open. Now, that's a disconnect in the messaging. And she keeps repeating it the same way, and people don't fucking understand what she's saying. What she means is that because there's still 3 weeks left for school holidays to happen, if your children can't find somewhere safe to be, send them to school. We won't turn any children away. But if they can stay home and you can stay home, please keep your children at home. And so, but they're not communicating that properly.
No. And it's really alerting, and it's a bit frustrated from us also, like non-essential with the essential services. We are coffee roasters, like where we are we in the essential? Well, yeah, we are, because if cafes are still doing takeaways and stuff, so we have to remain open. Yeah, that confuses
me too. Totally. Like, do you know what I mean? Well, as far as I'm concerned, coffee's a luxury. It's not essential. Essential is a hospital. Essential is a supermarket. We just have different understandings of what the term essential means. And so it's like when someone says, I have an emergency, my pet's run away, right? Now, when you say emergency, my pet's run away, it changes the standard meaning of the word emergency. So the next time you use the word emergency, people are going to not take it the same way they would take emergency, my husband's having a heart attack. You see what I'm saying? And so exactly. In this situation, when they're saying essential, well, to my mind, coffee's a luxury, and it's an affordable luxury, and it's something that we all think is essential, but it's not really essential. Like when shit gets super bad, and let's hope it doesn't, but that's not what we're going to be considering essential. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean toilet paper.
Toilet paper is essential.
Obviously, it was the most essential part.
Right.
I mean, who would have thought? I would think water,
exactly.
Shelter,
that's
and
essential.
Some other stuff. But
so there's a lot of mixed messaging that's quite frustrating. Like non-essential businesses have to shut down. Okay, a cafe is not really an essential business. A cafe also, when people are waiting in line, is proliferating the virus.
Oh man, I mean, this is a whole nother conversation. Even when you talk about takeaway, are you really gonna govern every little takeaway shop to abide with the social distance? I mean, I drove around in a fish and chip shops. I was driving on Botany Road, and there's like few of them, and everybody crammed inside waiting for their food. I'm like, how can you control all these ethnic groups within a multicultural society? Some take it seriously, some take it because of God, some take it something else. So
others are praying the fucking virus away.
How are you gonna control?
Like, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. And to anybody who is listening, I need to clarify something right now. Taking this virus seriously isn't you wearing a mask. It isn't about you making sure that you're safe. Taking this virus seriously is about making sure that your responsibility to keep everyone in the community is what you're observing. If you have
100%. Go ahead. I mean, I think there's a lack of the word social responsibility. I think we don't really we only take it into like the government has to be socially active or the companies, but also people need to be social. Responsible for others, So, I mean, look at Bondi, right? They all took it as a holiday, and I mean, how can you control how can you control a social distance? There's only few of us will do it right. All the rest, they see it as a flu, and there's so many people coming out right now, especially young people who are surviving this thing and telling you it is not a flu.
They're surviving it for now. But this virus, if it mutates, and people need to understand, like a virus is trying to infect as many people as it can. That's its job. Its job is to get into as many hosts as virusly possible. right? That's its job.
Yeah.
And so at some point it's going to realize, once it's done the rounds of infecting people and using them as hosts without expressing itself to them and debilitating them, it's going to figure out that perhaps we can get even further by infecting younger and younger people.
Yeah.
So it's going to continue to mutate. And we're going to have Gary Kennedy back on the podcast this week. He was the scientist that we had. We've been fucking yelling this from the rooftops since the beginning of February. He's coming on the podcast probably tomorrow or the day after. And we're going to talk about all of this again.
Nice.
We're going to talk about like the mutations. We're going to talk about what they know for sure, what they don't know for sure, what cafes can do. We're going to have a nice long chat about it, because I'm just really frustrated at the way that people are just considering that if they're keeping themselves safe, that they are being responsible, that they're taking this shit seriously. If you have come in contact with somebody who has had the coronavirus, going to work and working in a cafe and not telling somebody that you have come into contact with somebody who has coronavirus is negligent.
100%. You know, it's the problem also in Australia. It takes 3 days to know if you have it or not. You know, so all the data that's showing up right now, technically speaking, it's slightly delayed data. You know, I mean, now with they're discovering, you know, probably 100 every day, but that's like 100
right,
days
exactly.
ago.
That's those 100 people have been in contact with a bunch of people, and literally your selfishness is killing people. You being selfish means that people are going to die because you have this misconception that you're taking this seriously because you're wearing a mask, or because, you know, you're observing the 1.5 meter rule that they have in Australia, even though you secretly know that you've been in contact with somebody. Like, it's...
Yeah.
You just have to watch the news once to know that if you've been in contact with someone, or you suspect you've been in contact with someone, you just shouldn't be out in the world. I just don't get why people are still communing in beaches. Here on PB, Pacific Beach, yesterday there were 4,000 people. Yesterday.
4,000. There you go.
No.
They're not taking it seriously. That's the thing. And also, like, here government, just stand up for it and just say, just lock down, just shut everything down for at least 2 weeks. So us, first we need to understand what the hell is going on. At least if I continue doing this, take away only half here, half there, I need to keep staff there. We might do 100 kilos. All my staff are full-time basis. I don't have casual, you know, I don't have any of that.
How do you manage
so
that?
how do I control that? Like, yeah, you know, if I have a little bit of money in the account, it's just going to drain by the time, you know, the government get the money into the account, but it will be way too late then.
Oh, yeah.
You know, they're talking about billions of dollars, but when you start dividing these billions and billions of dollars, it's not really much.
It's really not. I mean, they're talking in Australia about $100,000 for small businesses as a stimulus package, et cetera, et cetera. I mean,
as a loan. I mean, the bank are giving loan for 6 months, but we don't know they don't even know how they structure it. They're just saying it. I mean, right now they don't, like, even if I give an example, right? Like we've got big machineries. Well, obviously everything is on loan, asset finance, and you know, the bank's saying, yeah, we can defer for 6 months, but after 6 months you have to pay everything in lump sum.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
These people who are like, oh, we're deferring
for
rent. Right? I called my landlord and I'm like, listen, I just want to let you know I'm good for the rent for at least a few months. But if I don't have any income coming in, like, what's going to happen after that? And he's like, well, don't worry, no one's going to kick you out. But once everything comes good, all the rent's due. I'm like, in one go? What do you mean? In one go?
How are you
You haven't had any money coming in for months. I've got to ask you, Noah, how long do you think this is going to go down? What's your gut feel?
I'm I'm hoping not more than 6 months, but if I keep listening to all the people around, it sounds like a year. It sounds like 2021, we might have a
Yeah.
little sunshine into our life again, I guess, but hopefully it doesn't drag that long because 35% of small businesses in Australia, according to some statistics, they don't even have 1 week liquidation. Like they can't live more than survive. They don't have
No, they don't
bank
have lines
cash
of
at
credit.
bank. More than yeah, they've got nothing. Like they're living day by day, by week,
Yeah.
by month. I mean, I'm lucky a little bit. We've been communicating a lot with our staff. I'm trying to prolong the employments with them. Obviously, I had to cut hours. We had to cut days, but we
Yeah.
had to be smart about it. So it's good that we have a team that understand each other. They know that we have international student. We might need to sacrifice a little bit of someone who live here, born here, hours to the other person. So we've been on a lot of communication until I understand what the stimulus package really is. Until I know for sure that this is what we are talking about. This is the money that coming into the business. It's just this time transparency and communication and having a clear a conversation with your staff. And I mean, because we're all in it
100%.
together,
$100%.
there's no need to hide. There's no need. Just say it as
Communication
it
is
is.
the number one thing that is going to get all of us through this. Being frustrated and buying into your anxiety and the panic and being defensive and all this kind of stuff, it's just not going to work. We're all in a shitty position.
No,
And it's just, we all wish it could be different. Like just business as usual is hard enough.
I know. I know it is. I mean, we have a lot of
I
plans
know,
for
my
this year.
heart broke
Also,
for you
we had
guys.
mine.
Ecker.
We had the
Yeah.
launch of new brand. We had this. I mean, the thing is, I had to continue with the website build. That's something like this. Something that come
Yeah.
out of this crisis is
Yeah.
having a website that clearly
Yeah.
talk about who you are, what you stand for, and having an opportunity to sell something or to at least have a bit of a commerce part of your website is very, very important, I guess. So if any business out there who hasn't done it yet, I think
Yeah.
website and being on the web is very, very critical,
Where,
because
it's a place where people
you,
can come and see exactly what you stand for right now, right? And we're working on a
yeah,
solution actually that I'm going to tell you about it when we get
yeah, nice.
offline. Because we're in the testing phase of it now,
Yeah,
and it's a stimulus solution that is applicable to every small business around the world, and it costs nothing. It's just a clever idea
okay,
that happened to me thanks to the generosity of someone by the name of
yeah,
Jethro Sepulveda. And he did something with regards to my brand that I ran with the idea, and now we're testing it. If it works, this might be a solution for all of us. So we want to make sure that we've done it right.
great,
You know me so well, and you know how important dignity is to me. And so I want to come up with solutions that aren't just
yeah,
about handouts. I want to come up with solutions that, help people be empowered with working through this rather than feeling beholden to other people through this. And if we can find a way to do that, so that's where my thinking is geared to. How can we come up with solutions that aren't about people giving you something? It's that whole teach a man to fish versus giving a man a fish. So we're working on that. We should have
yeah,
the first test done this week. And if it works, then we'll be able
nice,
to tell
okay,
everybody about it next week. But there's a couple of kinks in it.
awesome,
Just because these are the kinds of things that when somebody does something that's so kind and you see the payoff, and we're going to be lucky because we're going to tell how Jethro inspired this. And it's a lovely story about how it happened. But if we can
yeah,
find a way to empower people to be their own solution, it unhooks them from the
Yeah.
direction that most people are running towards, which is, can I have some money? Can I have some money? Can I have some money? And so if you can be unhooked from the dependency that's going to come later with that, which is, how the fuck do I pay this money back? Because the thing is, you're going to use that money to pay people who aren't creating a revenue for you at the moment anyway, which is not a reason not to pay them, but you are then left with the burden of, how am I going to replace this money when it comes time to pay it?
It's not a 100%. Look, I agree, and this is where you're in the middle, right? You're like just
As a
scratching
business owner,
your
right?
head. I'm like, okay, my
You
staff
love
are
them.
highly, yeah, they're like, yeah, I love them. We work so hard. It's really important to build a sustainable team that been working together
Yeah.
for a couple of years at least, right? Because everybody will understand its movement. We moved on from
You
communication
developed together.
problem. We moved on.
Yeah.
You developed that nice little, network of mindsets between each other. Everybody kind of understand each other right now a lot more. There's less conflict in the air. There's more work in the air now. And then suddenly you have to let them go and find someone else, or stuff like that, and you have to redo it again. It's a lot of work. It is not easy. So I want to try my best to be. There's a great example, but I don't know if it's applicable with coronavirus situation. But you've got in the 1990s, Sony versus Samsung, and when the economical hit happened, Sony let people go. Samsung kept
I haven't heard
people,
this story. I love the stories
right?
that you tell around this
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
I know, right? So yeah, I mean, it's a great case study because they both survived, they both exist. But however, Samsung kept its people, kept the mindset, actually hired more people leaving Sony's into its R&D, and now Samsung is the leader
They
at
took
what they
advantage
do,
of an
while Sony is
opportunity.
just in a right. So it's like, but I don't know if it's gonna work where now there's all this global crisis beyond
Right.
anyone ability. Before was like financial, now we're talking about health,
And
society, business. So
indefiniteness,
it's a lot more
right?
complex.
Like,
Exactly.
this is one of those
Yeah.
things of, the WHO was saying a couple of days ago on their press conference that until we have a vaccine, it's really not safe for the world to go back to normal.
100%. I mean, there's no point to go back
Because
to
the
normal
virus,
if there's
that it'll
it's gonna happen
just
again.
rebloom in the community. And so the idea with that is like, there's nothing more dangerous. The only thing more dangerous than the virus is a bad vaccine for that virus. And because if you take that vaccine and administer it to people, what you're doing is just en masse administering the disease to everybody. And it's not a good vaccine, so you're just infecting the world again. And a mutated version of it.
Exactly. Then you have to do it all over.
So they've got to get it right.
Yeah.
And if they get it right,
So,
best case scenario is 8 to 9 months. That's best case scenario. And then they have to administer it to 8 billion people. They've got to manufacture and administer it to 8 billion people.
You imagine what kind of operation it's gonna be? It's gonna be Operation Nightmare. It's not gonna be an easy one, that's for sure. So it's all these uncertainty happening around us, and the government here is just again prolonging until they do the total lockdown. They're just doing it step, and they see how we go. Then we do another step, and then we see how we go. They're not
do it. Just do it.
Man, you've got Italy. It's the greatest example because we have limited beds in the hospital. We have we are from the similar economical sphere.
Population size as well, right?
Similar-minded people. No,
why? How much is in Italy?
Lower than they are.
Oh, okay.
60 million,
yeah,
I guess.
Fair.
I can Google that. It's quite big, but they have aging population. It's not like we're freaking young.
Yeah.
So just take this big fat measurement right now Take that big decision, take responsibility of it. At least people, tell them, we defer rent. You're gonna get rent paid, electricity, but something. I mean, just 20% even of the wages, because you do have all these information on their table. Like we have single touch payroll, right? So every week we are sending how much we're paying our staff. So everybody has their own how do you say, files that
Right.
the government know each one of us how much they're getting paid. They know everything these days, because everything's done online. So it's not that
Yeah.
hard for them to, design a package a little bit quicker and go ahead and do it, which I'm just worried about when things get to the 28th of April, if we're going to wait that long,
God, that seems so
what's
far
going to
away right
happen
now, doesn't
then?
it?
It's far away because it's 24-hour
Yeah.
decision making, It's like
Wow.
we did something last week. Yeah, and then this week I have to sit down. I like we are down. Stitch Coffee is down probably 80%
That's astronomical.
of what they
That's
normally.
astronomical.
Yeah, I mean this is no money at
Oh,
all,
but bro, I get it. Elixir,
Um,
our whole wholesale business has been 100% wiped out. 100% in a day on the 15th of March. The whole wholesale business was wiped out. What do you do? Like
there
at
you
the
go.
end of the
So
day, and you're a wholesaler. You don't have a
yeah,
cafe. You're a wholesaler. Like at the end of the day, your business is dependent on the survival of other businesses.
100%. Exactly, it is. I mean, that's the best way to put it together. If they don't survive, what do I
You
do?
don't survive.
And to have a yeah, and to have a salesman right now, who he's gonna sell for?
I've
Like
said it on a previous episode.
what?
If a salesman fucking called me now for anything right now, I would tell them to lose my number and don't ever call me again.
Yeah, I mean, how we gonna? All right, we all gonna jump online. We're all gonna do it online, But online takes years also to grow. It's not in a month I'm gonna bring back my, whatever I was doing and I can sell it online. It's not that easy. And people, they're not gonna chew coffee while they're sitting. It's not a popcorn. So
Do you know, the one thing that I am seeing is a potential that will come out of this is I'm being very encouraging for people in that if they have an entrepreneurial mindset, rather than waiting for a handout, this is the time that you should absolutely take action, find problems that need to be solved and try and fix them and monetize it, right? This is absolutely the time to do that. But what is going to become apparent is how fucking difficult it is to start and grow a business. People who've never done it before are going to have a much greater appreciation for those of us who have been slogging it out for 15 years, trying to grow these things, or 5 years, or however long people have been doing it for, and how difficult it is to get a business off the ground.
oh, it's gonna be. I don't know really. I mean, it's gonna be very very hard. But whoever survived this period,
Yeah.
they're gonna do really well later.
Oh,
So it's
100%.
just
If you've got a cafe that survives after this, you will fucking crush. Everybody is going to want to come and survive. You're going to want to support your business.
100%.
Restaurant,
And you know
too.
what the good part I believe that could come out of it is that people will probably take hospitality. There will be a lot closing down. We will probably be able to charge more per cup. We'll probably to be able to run a much more sustainable business down the track. We
Right.
will be a lot smarter than just price crushing.
Right.
We
Well,
will
there'll be
learn a
less
very
people. There'll be less competition as well. So the customers will
yeah.
be. It'll go back to being a fair playing field rather than a saturated playing field.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So there is a bit of a hope, but you just have to put on your survival
Yeah.
mode right now. Be very communicative. Be very open to your staff. Try to help them whenever you can. We did a bit of a page. Tuli did a page for New South Wales specialty coffee. So about coronavirus on Facebook. It's got some information there.
Great.
We're adding Airtable to our website also, so it has all the information that you need. So we're trying to do our part for the small community. that we're in. So if you guys need anything, just jump on this Facebook page, and jump on your podcast also. Be very connected, and yeah, just be an open source really. And
Yeah.
if you get the money from the government, be transparent also about it.
Yeah.
Because they're giving you to help others, not to just so you have to weigh it,
And
I guess.
and use it to pay people, but whatever you're not using to pay people, use it to stimulate your business somehow. So use it to create another part of your business that could potentially generate more revenue. When you're generating more revenue, you're creating more opportunity to continue paying staff. And at this point, $100 a week goes a long way. It means people can eat.
Yeah, because there's less going out, there's less of this, less of that, so people are really going to use it in the right direction, I guess. Hopefully, right?
Yeah,
you hope so.
Oh yeah, and we've got to find a way to make it stretch, but we can only do that if we're looking after ourselves and looking after each other. You've got to take care of yourself. You've got to also be taking care of other people. Don't be going out into the community and spreading the virus. If you know that just stay the fuck home.
Yeah. Just don't take risks. That's pretty much, especially with this. I mean, take risk in business.
In business is one thing, but this is one of those things where the more people you come into contact with, the longer you're prolonging us getting back to business as usual.
Yeah.
In 100%. The beginning, they were talking about it's going to be 2 weeks. And the more that this has come out, like we're starting to realize this is going to be, I don't think it's going to be done in 2020.
Hopefully it will, but you know what? I mean, looking at the number and how fast is spreading, and as again the speculation of the U.S. being in a bad position at some point, where it is out of control, it could get in America, and probably if we haven't spoke about Middle East yet and all the poor country and what's going to happen in Africa if if it started serious spreading over there. Probably it is. Who knows who's getting tested and who's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is not going to be, it could be a long way ahead. So for us, we just need to be smart right now. I guess also even employee need to kind of like go and put on their entrepreneurship mindset, try to be a little bit, help the business also.
Come up with ideas.
Yeah, with the bosses, with whoever own it. If he's looking after you, he's been transparent, he's been open with you. Also, give the extra push, help out whenever you can. I even opened like when we said there's not enough hours, what are we gonna do? And I give the option for some of my stuff. If you really want to learn, you want to learn how to roast and all that, just go turn on the roaster and do it yourself. Meanwhile,
start your own brand.
If like you're bored or doing something, just go and learn.
Use the time however you can.
Use the academy. Come up with like barista course. Come up with something that could help the academy later. Brainstorm about it. Because once this is all finished, hopefully we will survive it. We could have a very good start again. So we're always hoping, it's like there's always a light somewhere. Or
Nawar, you've got such a great skeleton of a business. Like this was the year. You guys were getting ready, like launching all the rockets to take off.
Yeah.
So hopefully, and the great thing is that the skeleton that you've built is still going to be there once you're done.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, and also we are a collective.
Yeah.
We're here helping other people also. So we believe we could help a lot of cafe owners down the track, even to use their cost of goods, to come now and give an opportunity for everyone who works with them to have a career in coffee by learning more skills. So hopefully this could be a lesson. And for us as a collective, as a co-roasting spaces, that could be a great takeoff.
Yeah, really could.
We could. We just have to stay open. But we could. We're taking all the right measurement right now. We're asking, we straight away jumped with the landlord. We're asking our financial institution what's going on. Like, you have to be super proactive. And don't wait for the government to give you the money. Like, just call your landlord like you did.
Yep.
Call everybody right now. Give them a call. Send them an email. Doesn't matter, even if you owe them $1.
Yep.
Just
and your insurance company. Like, a lot of you think that you're going to be able to claim the loss of this on your insurance. I want you to hear me and hear me clearly now. There's not a single insurance policy in all of America, and I'm sure the same thing exists in Australia, and no travel insurance even covers this. There are people that are stuck in other countries that are not able to get back home because so loss of business because of this pandemic doesn't exist in insurance.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So we have to be very, very careful and count to 10 before you do any decision.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. So.
And if anyone has any questions or wants any advice, Nawar and I are about to jump on an Instagram live, and you can ask us directly there. Come have a chat with us. The main thing that we want everyone to know is that you are not alone, and that there are leaders in the community like Nawar that are incredibly generous with their time and with their wisdom and with their experience. And those are the kind of leaders that once this is done, they're the ones that have shown up for you when they didn't have to. They're the ones that didn't run and say, fuck the world, I'm going to take care of myself. They're the ones that you need to continue backing once this is all over. And Noah, thank you for everything that you've been doing for the community, not just right now, but you're always showing up for everybody. And that's really important. It's why I'm a big fan of supporting you, and I always appreciate your support for everything that we do at Map It Forward.
Thank you, Leah. I really appreciate it. And let's jump on Instagram.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Peace, love, and peanut butter, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your day. We'll see you soon. Bye.
See ya.